And welcome back to the channel. This is Thomas Goes Nostalgic, and on this episode we're going to take these ornaments from the 90s and make a Christmas diorama for our NECA Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. So if you were a fan of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles in the 90s, more than likely you might have had some vintage Christmas ornaments for the Ninja Turtles. So I have these wooden ornaments that were pretty popular back then. I remember Disney made a whole bunch, but I had these Ninja Turtle ones that I've had since I was a kid. I absolutely love these. They're so cool. I can't believe I still have them. I don't have much from my childhood, but to hold on to these are pretty awesome. And I've been looking at these ornaments on the tree for a while now, and I thought it would be cool to make a sweet Christmas display for these guys. And I've seen lots of people having fun with their NECA TMNT figures, dressing them up for Christmas. So I thought I would do the same, but put my own little spin on it. And these ornaments depict 4 different scenes with the turtles. So all I need to do is just dress them up, build a base for this diorama, and we can get started. So let's go. And starting off this project, we are just going to get some XPS foam, and I have tons of scrap pieces, so I thought for a small base diorama, I really didn't want to go buy a new sheet of foam, so I'm using what I have. This green piece is extra from the Power Rangers diorama I built, which is perfect. Just got to cut off the edges, make sure everything's even, and then I can start getting it together. Once all my pieces are cut to my liking, I'm getting them in place, and now I'm drawing a small circle on the base of the diorama. I'm going to cut this out with my hot wire tool, and this is where I thought it would be pretty neat to put an ice skating rink. So I'm going to cut that hole out, and then when everything's sealed and painted, I'm going to fill it with resin to give that illusion of an ice skating rink. Next, I'm going to apply a generous amount of PVA glue. I'm just going to spread it throughout the base of the diorama, and then really quick, I will apply some dabs of hot glue so that it seals quickly while that PVA glue dries. Now I really want to make sure that the seam where the resin will be poured is sealed properly. So I always like to take this wall patch and just spread it throughout the crease and seams, and I'll just kind of work this into the cracks, and we'll wait for it to dry, and once that's done I can get started painting. I want to give the edges some more texture, so I'm just taking it through my Proxxon hot wire cutter and just giving it some riveted edges just so it looks like the side of a mountain or a cliff. And then I have this extra piece that I'm going to make a diagonal cut, because this will be the slope for Donatello as he will be on his skis. And just securing that sloped piece with some PVA glue and hot glue, following the same process as I did before, and weighing it down. So I'll start working on some props now, and this is a material called polystyrene. I haven't worked with it yet, but I wanted to use it for Donatello's skis. And I did this so I can easily cut to the edges to a point, and then use my heat gun to curl at the end of the skis so it would have an authentic look. Now that the skis are complete, I'm going to give them a prime and start working more on the base. So I'm taking that wall putty and just spreading it throughout the base of the diorama so that you can't see any seams where I glued the foam. So this will give a real natural rock-like texture and will look really good once I start priming it. So I'm taking my black acrylic paint and Mod Podge, just giving everything a coat, especially where the seams are, where I'll be filling in that resin. This will seal it up nicely, and then we can start painting on some colors and details. Now we will apply some dry brushing, just a mixture of white and gray, just to make the ridges of the mountainside really pop and give them some highlights. I also want to give some of the diorama a lighter coat, so we're going to use some gray. This way when I go to paint over the white snowy color, I really don't want to have to do multiple coats against the black. And I found this tree at Michael's. Everything was on clearance because when I started this project, it was a couple of days before Christmas. So got that on sale, and I'm showing that because I'm going to paint the base of the diorama as well as the base of the tree, all this metallic white. I'm mixing some glitter in it, and then after I'll probably add another coat of glitter as well because I really want the base of this diorama to sparkle when the light hits it. And for the ice skating rink, I thought it would be great to add this metallic blue. So I'm going to add a couple of coats to this. When I pour the resin on, I really want it to shine. I also threw some glitter in there, mixed it up real nice. And while we're waiting for that to dry, my skis have been primed. I'm just going to paint them red. And like I said, looking at the ornament, there was some glitter at the base. So this diorama is going to get a full coat of this really fine gradient glitter. And I think it's going to look really cool once it's all dry. I'm just applying generous amounts of Mod Podge, and then we'll start sprinkling on the glitter. And at this point, we're going to start mixing our A and B solution of resin. Now, when you're using resin, make sure you use half A and half B solution. You want an even amount. Mix them together for some time. I'm going to sparkle some glitter in there, and this is going to go in that ice rink. So this is the part of the diorama I get nervous, where you want to make sure that there's no seams or leakage. So I think I sealed it pretty well. So we're going to pour that in, and I'm going to let it sit overnight. So when you're using resin, you might get some air bubbles. Just take a torch and lightly go over the resin to pop those bubbles. You don't want to burn the diorama, but that usually does the trick. Now I couldn't find any props to kit bash, so I have to make my own skates. You saw me make my own skis, and now I have to make the ski poles as well. So I have some of those extra spindles from a previous project and these dowels that I'll use to make the skis. So for the round part of the spoke of the ski pole, I found this wagon wheel that was attached to like a dollhouse wagon, and I glued that on. I think it's looking pretty cool. I used the spindle as the handle, a dowel as the pole, and then that wagon wheel as the little round spoke at the bottom of the ski. So I think it turned out pretty well. So I started working on my snowman, just a few pieces of styrofoam balls that I glued together and then gave them a layer of wall putty. So that's going to take a while to dry. While that's drying, I'm going to take some modeling clay. I'm going to sculpt the carrot nose and also the bandana. I thought I had some fabric to work on the bandana, but I'll try to do it out of clay. Hopefully it doesn't turn out too bad. But I'll do that. I'll mold them, and then I'll put them in either the oven or the air fryer. Either way, they'll harden up, and then we can get those painted. And most of my props are done. I used an elastic band from a face mask, and I cut it into pieces and use that as the straps for the skis and the ice skates. And then my ski poles are all painted and looking pretty good. So just waiting on that snowman. I found these ornaments, and I'm just going to pull their scarves off and use them for Leonardo and Donatello as it is depicted on the ornaments. And once I get the turtles all dressed up, it's time to put them on the display. So for now, just having those ornaments as a placeholder, I just want to get a good look at this diorama. Now, I love how the base just kind of glistens with the light. The resin dried perfectly. I didn't have any problems. I didn't have any bubbles. So that was great. Those tree lights in the back, I didn't make those. I'm just putting those behind for some lighting. But, you know, this project, I'm a big Christmas Village guy. So if you have a display or a Christmas Village or trains even, like this technique could be used for anything like that. So with that being said, we're going to get these ornaments out of the way and get the figures on. And here you have it, folks, my Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Christmas display based on those 1990s Christmas ornaments. And the turtles were everywhere in the 90s. I mean, they were on Valentine's Day cards, Christmas cards, and these ornaments mean a lot to me because, They just bring me back to that time, and to take that idea from a 2D ornament to a 3D diorama, I thought it was pretty special for me. So I can't wait to have this as like a centerpiece for some of my other Christmas ornaments, but this looks awesome. And I think all of the elements of this diorama, I'm specifically using it for turtles, but like I said before, if you wanted to use this for a Christmas village or a train setup, I think this would look really cool. I'm even getting ideas for my own Christmas village to make this on a grander scale, especially with that ice skating rink. I thought that was a nice touch. So maybe next year, next Christmas for my village display, I can make this on a bigger scale. And that does it for this episode, folks. This is probably my last diorama of the year, and I hope you have a Merry Christmas and also Happy Holidays and a Happy New Year. Until then, we'll catch you next time.